Hello and welcome to part 4. Today we'll be continuing our discussion on lists, and today we'll be talking about some of the specific functions that we can use with lists and why it can be a powerful tool. Um, so let's start off by talking about what the append function is. First of all, let's create a variable so we can store our list that we want to talk about. Maybe let's say our list is just 7, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, just a um, random numbers that I just came up with right there. And then I want to append a value. So I want to add maybe 3 into our list. And how would I do that? I'd use the append function. Let's start off by defining which list I want to append the value 3 to. So type in list1 dot append. So basically you're telling the program that I want to append a value to list1, and then you type in the value that you want to append. So for example, 3 right there. And now once I print this, once I print my list, I should get all of these numbers with 3 at the end. There we go. I do get that. So I get 7, 8, 9, and I get, whoops, 7, 8, 9, I get 1, 2, 3, just like I said. Okay, now, why would this even be useful? Why would I actually use the append function? So I can use the append function to filter out numbers, for example. So let's say I didn't have this part and I was trying to iterate through my function using a for loop, for example, and I wanted to filter out all the um, even numbers, perhaps. So what I would do is maybe I'll put a random empty list. I'll call it empty, right? And then I will use a for loop to go ahead and find my even numbers, for example. So I'll say for element in list 1. So, like I said in my for loop video, this variable name can be anything. You can say for number, for element. You can call it whatever you want. It's just creating a new variable to iterate through all of the values in the list. Now, don't forget the colon. And then if element um, modulus 2, because I'm looking for even numbers. So we can use our modulus function and then equals 0. Then we can add it to our list. So empty dot append element, right? And now this will just add our value that is even back into this empty list. And afterwards, we don't really need an else function, so we'll just say else pass. So this is not going to do anything. And we can print it out. Make sure to always have your print function outside of your um, loop. Otherwise, it will print every time the loop runs. Since this is a for loop, what it will do is it will take the value, it'll append it, and then it'll print it. And then it'll take the value and append and print. So you'll have multiple lists as your output, which we don't want right now. So make sure that it's out of your loop, and you know that because you don't have any indents. So now if I were to print empty, our list, it'll run the function and it'll look for any even numbers. And we get 8 and 2 because those are our even numbers in order, 8 and 2. We can't um, use the append function to order our numbers, and it just takes the same order that we have because of our for loop, and it iterates through the values in order. Now, for example, let's say we wanted to remove a certain value. Let's say that we know for a fact that we have 8 in our list and we just want to remove it. We don't want 8 in our list. Now, what we can do here is we can use the remove function. So I can say list1 dot remove. and I can remove that value. So that's why it says object here. For example, I remove 8. Now 8 will no longer be a part of our list, and once I print empty, we will only get 2 as our output. So let's try it. There we go. We only get 2 as our output. But what if we don't know our value? We don't know that the value is 8, but we know that the location in our list is 2, the index is 2. Now we can go about doing this two different ways. We can use the del function or we can use the pop function. The only difference between those two functions is using the pop function will also return the value using it in the shell. But yeah, if we were to use it in this case scenario, let's say I want to pop out our 8. So I'd use the value 1 because you have the value 0 here and then you have the value 1 here. Printing it out, I'd get 2. Using it in the console though, if I were to um, write some of my program in the console and pop out something, if I were to type in list.pop1, it will also return 8. That's the main difference. But using it in the program while writing it down, you won't be able to see that 8. It doesn't return that value because I'm not telling it to return it. Um, but let's say I wanted to use the del function. Now, how would I go about doing that? I would just type in del and I would use it like I would indexing something. So list 1 and then I would give the index value of 1. Now if I were to print it, I should get 2 this way as well. There we go. We get 2 once again. So if you delete it using the del function, you will also get the same result as using the pop function. So I think these are some important functions that maybe you should practice and look over. And yeah.